Howdy, folks. Welcome back. Let me just adjust this a tad bit better here. Trying to get a nice, good image for you guys so we can. November 16th of 2022. You can see we've had this little CME going on over here. Streak going across there, and we'll go through this frame by frame like we always do. But I want to let the loop play there a couple of times. And did you see what was happening at the very end here? We have our CME, and then something appears right there. So we're gonna go back here at the beginning of this, and we'll pause this right about. Let's go back just a previous frame while we're here, and this streak that comes through the screen here. It's all right. It's hard to see it on the red side over here. But we had this streak come through here, and this one looks like it's kind of flat. When over on this red side, when you can see it, it looks like it's flat. It's not just a little streak. It looks like it's going across and into the page that way. But there's the streak, and then here's our event starting underway right here. You can see our instrument reacting to it, and then we'll start going through this frame by frame. And you can make out there's a small one here. It's very faint, but material comes out and wraps over this one as it comes out. There's another smaller one down here. But the main one we're watching is this one coming out right here. Right there. And this is the last frame. We're at 2200, and there's no more data after this. This is the last frame. We'll go one more frame and it's all gone. So we back up a frame. Here's our last frame where it's getting crystal clear. And we're going to come in and zoom in on this so you guys can see what I've been trying to tell you this whole time, that there is another planetary body, something, other objects going around our sun and causing CMEs. Here it is, nice and crystal clear for you. Okay, and I would love to see the missing data as this thing extends out more. What happens? Is there another CME that comes out and splashes over it and really defines it? Or what happens? Does this stuff start streaking past it faster than it's moving out? I would love to see the missing frames on this event because I believe it probably becomes even more clear, and that's why they're missing. So we got that. I'm going to back out a little bit here so you can see where we left off. All right, and that's the last frame. Like I said, the next frame goes right back to the beginning. So we had another event here with another object, possibly three. These ones are very faint and hard to see what's going on here, so I don't really want to count these ones. But there is something there. There's something going on with these. And when I put it back into motion, you'll see the flow going out and over this upper object. And then here's our third object coming out right there. I mean, you can't miss it. Even the instrument's reacting to it. All the plasma around it is reacting to this object. And over on this side, there's a little dark patch right in there. It's hard to see on this computer because my system's the best here, but there's a little dark patch right in there. And I theorize that these are, possibly stellar cores that are strong enough to withstand the heat of the sun because they're the core of a star or something like that. And I believe that they're super depleted of energy. They had, all sorts of energy and electrons, and it was burning at one point until they're all gone down to a zero, and then it goes into negative territory where they're hyper depleted of light, and that makes light, they absorb light, and that's why you can't see them, because they don't reflect light. Even this close to the sun, they will not reflect any light because they're absorbing the light. That's why it rips off plasma when it goes by, is because it's so strong it's absorbing light and it's taking plasma, which is light, with it. And that's my theory. I believe that these things, we can't see them as well on this side. There's no sun reflecting off of them, yet here they are, and the plasma streaks and goes around them and reacts to an object that's there that you can't see with the naked eye. But over on this side you can see it because this is the differential, this is the difference view on it. and our camera captures it nice and clear right there. So there was this, and then there was a few days ago. Let's go back to the 14th because I haven't reported on this since it happened. And while this is loading up, I want you guys to watch it closely. Is everything, all this little streak activity going through here again? More of these objects. Watch as these appear out here towards the edge. There's no CME, but they hop in at the very end. We'll go into that as we go frame by frame. But first, let's report on this CME right here. Boom. You see it coming off right here. And it doesn't look like much, but there's two objects in this one. And if you stare right about here, you'll see them at the very end. So just kind of stare at this spot where my tip is. And when they come by, you'll see the two round objects. Very faint. That's why I didn't report on this one a couple of days ago, because this one's really faint. But since we're doing a report, I'm going to go ahead and pause on this. Boom. Let's bring it back a couple frames. Okay, here's our first object. It's right in here, and as it comes out, you can make out this little darker patch. And then here is our round object. Let me pull this down and start zooming in here. Okay, you can make out this round shape right here. And so here's our instrument reacting to it. Here's our first object right here. And there's a secondary one back behind it. And let me pull this out of the way a little bit. As we progress forward, you see the second sphere right behind it. Let me find a good frame that shows it. There you can see this darker round circle right here is the second one. This is the back side of the first one. Okay, so as you see them come out and go by. Now I'm going to put this back into motion here because it's a motion that helps you see it a little bit better. Now watch carefully. See, you can see these two objects move out. They're pretty much draped until they get to about this point right here. And instead of watching them, just stare at this point, and out of the corner of your eye, you can see it a lot clearer as they go by. They're very faint, but they're in there. There's two of them. There's one leading the other one. This one first, that one second. Yeah, camera picture picked it up okay. Okay, then, now for the title, something different. Over on this side, you can see at the very end these things hopping in way out here. There's no CME, yet you see this thing hop in and go out of frame real quick, starting right about here, right? Now, what we're going to do, so we're going to bring this over now, and we're going to zoom in on this side over here because there's more going on than meets the eye. If I could get this to pull it over. Okay, well, it's good enough for right now. Now, before this object, there's right here, there's these two little wakes that are coming out. So some little object is causing these wakes, and these two wakes streak across and go move that way. Let me speed this up just a tad bit and see if the camera can pick up these two little wakes over on this side, and they drift across right here. They start over here, and then they drift across, starting right there. You can see there's some kind of little ghostly image of a ship or something coming out right here. And then the other object does the same. Okay, do you see these two little wakes? One more time. There we go. Now I'm going to go pause on that. All right. Let's see if we can go a frame further. This is probably the best frame. These two black streaks are the wakes coming off of something right here. And as we up, then we start to go forward, two little wakes, and then it drifts across the flow. Okay, so our flow, let's back up to our wake here. Here's our wakes coming. The flow is coming out this way, but this thing drifts across this flow. So something is in there disturbing it, cutting across the flow and creating these wakes. Now I'm going to go back and put it into motion, and I want you to watch. Whoops, see, I did it reverse. Come back to me now, reverse. There we go. Now I want you to watch this area and watch these two little wakes drift across. It dripped across because there's some little object there that's causing these two little black streaks, these two little wakes, and it's not going out symmetrically with the flow. It actually drifts across the flow. Okay, hopefully you guys are seeing that. And then we have the secondary darker object. So there's that one, and then there's this one. There's that one with the wakes, and this one. And as we pause on the second one towards the end of its little boom, let's right at the end of its little path here, it has two wakes coming off of it as well. So I think that these objects are popping into the outer magnetosphere of the sun. There's the inner one that's up in here in this area, but as you get further out, I'm sure there are shells and other boundaries, magnetic boundaries out here, and they're popping through their boundaries to absorb energy or whatever, and when they do pop in, these little wakes that come off of them. So I'm going to put this back into motion again, and maybe we'll slow it down just a tad bit, because now that you know what to look for, we'll go a little slower. So there it is right there with its wake across. And then the secondary one comes out, and it has wakes at the very last frames. So now we'll speed it up. Hopefully the camera will capture this. Yeah, a little bit. You know what? If it's doing that, let's speed it up really fast, and then you can really see how these wakes move across. No, it's too fast. Right there is probably good. And watch as these wakes move across the flow. Yeah, you can see that there's something in there disrupting the flow, causing those little wakes coming off of it. Right there. All right, so I just wanted to bring that to you guys. We got objects popping out. We got objects popping in. And we've had a nice clear image now of these objects interacting with the sun with this image right here. If it'll go one more there with that image right there. We'll close out with that. Let me zoom in on it one more time. So whatever these objects are, they're interacting with our sun. They've been captured again here. The activity with these is picking up. I've been watching for the comet activity, and it has died off. For how frequent we were having the activity like that, almost every day, every other day, 1 and 2 at a time, I thought for sure we would probably see continued activity or some kind of tapering off of activity, and it just stopped altogether. So thankfully it stopped altogether. That was kind of an ominous sign, but here we go again with this activity, and here's our object just clearly seen. I mean, if you can't see that, I don't know how to explain it. I don't see NASA or anybody else coming out and explaining what these are. There was Scott from Planet X. He's been out for a while. He's like the only other person that reports on the real stuff, not a bunch of lens flares captured on an FAA camera or whatever. This is NASA's instrument studying the sun. These are precise, intricate instruments to study the sun. What we're capturing isn't just somebody's, a cell phone camera. This is an extremely accurate instrument that they use. Now we're picking up these objects, and it's crystal clear as to what's going on. It's undeniable. I mean, I want to see somebody try to explain this away. This is another celestial body interacting with our sun. Period. So that's it for tonight. I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. And I just want to bring that to you and tell you I love you. And video. Bye.